Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to see this process out to its end. I make a motion that the City Council approve removing and storing the Sons of Our Southland Memorial Monument until an appropriate location is found for its placement. And I ask for a roll call vote.
Okay, so you'd actually be an amendment to the original motion is what you're asking for. Is that correct,
Well, I
Julia?
just want the vote to be recorded as a roll call vote.
Well, we have a motion and a second on an original, so you're asking for an amendment to the original motion to pick option, is there a certain numbered option that is?
Yes, number 2.
Okay, so Councilor Smith has an amendment to the original motion, which is option 2, which is to, I apologize, Councilor.
It is number 2.
Remove and store into appropriate location?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a second for that?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we have I'm going to document this real quick. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Motion by Councilor Smith, second by Councilor Chenault for option 2, which is to remove and store this monument until appropriate location is found for its placement. Roll call vote. Yea or nay, Councilor Brewer?
Nay.
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 Yay.
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, that fails 5-2. At this time, I'll take another motion.
I'd like to make a motion to put it on the ballot in November for the
Okay.
citizens to vote.
Which is,
Need a motion to amend?
so it'd be a motion to amend the first, a motion to amend item 5, which is not really an option listed, but we're calling it an,
Wait, it's number 4.
It's number 4.
No, but that's us putting it on the ballot, correct? That's what I'm confused about.
so there was, that's actually, option 5 is actually, would almost be ending discussion.
Right.
Of the citizens.
Right.
To, now, what's your action? Do you wish for the council to place it on the ballot as non-binding, or do you wish the citizens to get their own petition to get it placed on the ballot?
No, I say that us councilmen vote to put it on the ballot in November.
Okay, Julia, walk us through what that does if we place it on the ballot, please.
So there's the option number 4, which is what I understand Councilor Jackson wants to amend item 5 to have the council place it on the ballot. If the council votes to amend this ordinance to select number 4, the item will be placed on the November ballot. However, and so the citizens, presumably when they come vote in November, will vote on this item, yay or nay. That will then come back to the council, but it's not binding on the council to take whatever the results of the election are. So if there's 1,000 to remove and 500 to keep, the council is not bound to remove the monument or to acquiesce to what the voters have done. The only way it's going to be binding on the council is if the citizens who wish to have the monument removed, because, I mean, it's already there, so you would imagine that the initiative petition would be set by those people who want to remove. Under Section 40 and the sections thereafter in the charter, there's a section for initiative petition where citizens can get a petition that has specific information that has to be on it regarding who can sign and what information has to be there. They have to have 10% of the people that voted in the election or in the last election or 3,000 votes. They have to do that within 45 days, and they have to get it to the city clerk, who has to verify that information. And in a nutshell, after that's done, that will come to council, and at that point, there's some other procedural things that go on, but basically council can accept that and go ahead and do the will of the people who have put forth the initiative petition. Or if the council disagrees or refuses to act on the initiative petition, then it will be placed on the ballot. Most likely, because of the procedural requirements in the charter, that would not make it to the ballot until May, because it would be too late to put it on the November ballot. And at that point, the voters would vote on that initiative, and the results of that election then would be binding on the council. So whatever the results would be, yay or nay, the council would have to take that action based on what the voters voted on. Is that clear?
Binding and non-binding.
But you don't have to vote on this ordinance. That's not one of the selections. You would just agree that would be the option that would be left to the voters, and there would be no action taken on the ordinance.
Councilor Jackson, do you want to stick with your original motion? Okay. Option
They could
4.
amend it to do
I would
that,
like
but-
the people to be able to vote, and then it be brought to us.
Okay, is there a second for that?
Does this mean that we have to initiate all the proper procedures to originate the election, or how does that work?
The language will be originated from council on option 4.
So
The citizens option, ending discussion now and letting the citizens go for petition, they would have to come up with that language, I guess, with help of,
Correct.
yeah. And which would be, I mean, the monument's there, so I'm sure the language would be removal, or maybe they would say removal and place somewhere else. But right now, if we do his motion of option 4 and he gets a second, then that's basically going to be us formulating the language to place something, I guess, would be on November ballot, and then having to come back to council to be voted up and down whether or not we want to take action on that.
So we would have to write the wordage for the election. So we would have to say this is to remove the monument and store it somewhere,
Or
not to remove.
it would have to come back to council, and then we'd have to,
It would ultimately come back to us in the end again, and we would be voting to remove it or not remove it again. That's what I'm trying
Think of it as
to.
an opinion poll.
Right,
Really,
that's-
that's all it would be in
Yeah.
November is an opinion.
But if we leave it out there and we don't vote on this ordinance, we're not going anywhere with this ordinance, then we're looking at them getting an initiative petition through city clerk's office, going through all the signatures, going through the due process to get this put on the ballot. And then once they did that, once they voted, everybody voted the way they want to vote, then whatever came out of that vote, that's what we would do. It would not come back to the council to decide again. Does everybody understand that?
That's correct.
I think it should be for the people to decide, not us.
so you're shaking your head now, so do you want to withdraw your motion?
I just like I said, I would like for the citizens to be able to vote. Are they able to bring up a petition as well?
Yes. That's the other option we're discussing. So
Right.
your motion right now, I'll walk through it real quick. So your motion right now with the second allows us to come up with the language, place it on the ballot in November. Like Darren said, basically an opinion poll. We'll take that. If it passes 65%, we'll bring that back to council. We can have that discussion of whether or not we want to remove the monument or not in another action. The other way is we end discussion today. We can table this in discussion, whatever we want to do. And then citizens at any point in time, whether or not, whatever we do here today, a citizen at any point in time can go get a petition and get the appropriate amount of signatures and get it placed on the May ballot. And that would be binding. So whatever comes out of that, we're not going to have a say-so. Whatever comes out of that, it comes out of that. And then I guess we have to take action. And let's see if it passes, we have to remove that monument. If it doesn't pass, then it stays. But either side, yeah, I guess you can have a petition to keep the monument.
Well, you can. I mean, and there's nothing that would stop people who support keeping the monument from doing an initiative petition, but the monument's already there. So if the people who wish to have the monument removed, they're the ones that want an affirmative action taken. In other words, the monument's there and it's staying there unless there's an action to get it taken down. So the logical thing would be for the people who support the removal of the monument to get an initiative petition prepared and present that to the council to get it, and then the entire citizenry of Wichita Falls can vote on that initiative, yay, against or for that initiative. There's nothing from stopping people to bring an initiative petition to keep it, but it's already there. So it would really be incumbent on the people who want it removed to bring forth an initiative petition. Does that make sense?
Well, is it conceivable that both groups, pro and con, would have a petition and they would be on the same ballot?
It wouldn't make sense. I mean,
Well, if it's there and there's a petition to remove it and that passes,
Yeah, but, so if there's an initiative petition to remove it, and they get the required procedural things met that they're required to do in the charter, then that would be placed on the ballot, and the language would be, whatever the language is, to remove the Sons of the Southland Memorial, and then the citizens would go vote, yes, I agree with that initiative, or no, I don't, which means no, I want to keep it. So they would be voting to keep it or not, either way. You see what I'm saying? So it would make sense to have both on the ballot. The issue's going to be on the ballot, either way, but it makes more sense for the people who want it removed, because that's an affirmative action that has to be taken and voted on, whereas if nothing happens, if nobody gets an initiative petition together, or if, doesn't get that prepared, then the monument stays.
Yeah, and another way to look at it is if the council votes to remove it, then there could be an initiative to put it back by that support group.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or
So,
erect
yeah.
a new one, or, something.
The council
along that
votes
line.
to remove if for some reason the council voted to remove or to take an action that a group of citizens didn't agree with, let's say you pass this ordinance, well, it goes into effect in 30 days. They could actually use the referendum procedure in the charter to get you to change that, to stop it, in other words, to stop that ordinance from going forward. So, that's always a procedure that's in the charter as well, but.
Hold on, sir, I'm still instilling a motion right now before I can allow you to speak again, so hold on a second. So Steve, go ahead.
Question?
Yeah, let me go through this motion first, and then I'll.
Do I get this?
No, let me go through. We have a motion right now. I don't have a second yet, so I need to determine whether or not I can press forward with any further discussions. Just give me a second. So just give me a second. I don't know if y'all can hear me. Are you able to hear me? I have a motion on the floor without a second right now. So I'm gonna, if I can get a second, then we can allow for some discussion. Just give me a moment. So I'm going to get some clarification from Councilor Jackson. Okay. So right now, we have a motion, you have a motion for option 4, which is to have council place it on the ballot, non-binding, kind of an opinion poll type. So is that your motion?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion, is there a second?
Number 4, okay.
Vote for it, to let the citizens vote for it.
Okay, so there is no second, so that motion fails for failure of a second. Are there any other motions?
I would like to make the motion that we let the citizens do the petitions to put it on their ballot for May.
Well, more than that, it wouldn't be a motion, just, I guess.
Yeah,
That's not a motion.
Originally, item 5 was a discussion item. So if motion 2 has failed, motion 4 has failed, right now, if we want to close discussion, we can close discussion right now,
Talk about that.
send it to the citizens. If we wish, I think we have 2 more citizens who wish to speak, Marie?
Do we make a motion to close the discussion?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to make a motion.
we don't need to call the
discussion.
question because there's no question.
there's no question to be called. You just,
Yeah.
is there any more discussion that you want to have?
I'll second Tiff's motion.
Yeah, close the discussion.
Okay. We have,
So I can't say nothing now.
no, we got discussion right now. So we have a motion and a second. You can discuss upon that motion.
If it is voted to be removed, I want to make sure it ain't taxpayer dollars that's doing it.
Well, that would be at a later time. But the way it looks now, if this motion is second, if this carries, it goes back to the citizens to get their petition. Unless you personally are going to help raise the money, I mean, unless that's, I mean, I guess we could talk to that citizen group, whoever brings that forward.
Well, there was 5 of us that voted for it to go to city vote, correct? 5 out of 2.
Nobody voted for it.
Nobody voted for it. We voted it down. So at that time, Councilor Jackson, you can ask that citizen group, to word their I guess we can have discussions with them to word it to where, if it's the will of the people, it's the will of the people. So whether or not we pay for it or not,
I
that's
still
probably.
believe that the citizens ought to be able to vote on it.
That's what we're
We
doing.
are doing that.
That's what we're
We
doing.
are letting them vote on it.
So are you still confused on that point? Okay, yeah, so by ending discussion, we have a motion second now to end discussion, and by ending discussion, we're allowing the citizens to get a petition to enable to put it on a ballot that will be for May.
Which would be for either side.
Yeah, that's correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we now have a motion on the floor to end discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, we'll move forward to item number 6.